struggle. In a society where corporate interests dominate both politics and the economy, where wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, democracy often becomes little more than a veneer, a tool used to justify the status quo. The political elites may tell us to vote, but when that vote is continually manipulated by corporate money, when it is used to entrench the very systems of oppression and inequality we face, what kind of democracy is that? The truth is, true democracy is about more than voting every 3 years. It's about the fundamental right of every person to have a say in the decisions that affect their lives, from their workplaces to their communities to the policies that govern our nation. Democracy in its fullest sense is about collective power, about workers, communities, and oppressed people organizing to challenge the systems of power that perpetuate exploitation and injustice. Our collective power is our weapon. True liberation will not come through fragmented efforts or individual struggles alone, but through a unified class solidarity. A solidarity that transcends borders and breaks through the systems of oppression that tie us all together. We must recognize that the fight for liberation is not just local, it is global. And today our brothers and sisters in Palestine need us. Labor has always played a critical role in struggles for justice, and today we are called to stand with the Palestinian people. We are called to end the siege in Gaza, to end the occupation, and to free Palestine. As union workers, we have a distinct ability to act, not just in words, but in material action. We have the power to refuse to allow our labor to be exploited in ways that fuel and finance the violence and genocide in Gaza. We have the ability to shut down production, to halt distribution, and to stop the global capitalist and Zionist war machine. We have several speakers here today who have been doing incredible work in their unions and workplaces in solidarity with the struggle for Palestinian liberation. The plan is for us to march to News Corp to join the Within Our Lifetime mass demonstration at around 6:30 to 7 o'clock. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Michael Leffish from Labor for Palestine, or W Labor for Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
No votes for genocide!
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 Siblings, siblings, thank you for coming out today. Stand with Palestine. It's been more than a year since the increased Nakba, genocide, all-out attempt to exterminate Palestine has taken place. And that in turn goes back to the Nakba of 1948 that established the Zionist state to begin with, so-called Israel. But let's always remember that all of Israel is occupied Palestine. Israel is not a country, it's not a place. It's a settler colonial regime that exists on the land of Palestine. And one day will be gone. And by the efforts of Palestinian people, by their resilience, by their resistance, and by our own in solidarity with them, that day is coming. But meanwhile, that can only happen if the Sultana pointed out we answer the call for Palestine. The urgent call, especially to Palestinian trade unions, that have been issued time and again across the years. Union members, do we cross picket lines?
No!
Never cross picket lines.
No!
Never cross a picket line.
That's right!
Never cross a picket line.
Never cross a picket line! line.
Never cross a picket 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 line.
And so the Palestinian trade unions in their urgent call from October 16th of 2023 called on all of us around the world, workers across the world, to end all complicity, to stop arming Palestine, to stop arming Israel. What were they talking about when they say end all complicity? First, they mean stop our own government that provides the weapons to commit genocide in Palestine by the billions and billions of dollars that should be used here and around the world for people's needs, not to commit genocide. That's number one. Number two, they mean stop our own employers from investing and profiting from Zionism and Israeli genocide. And all of our employers in one way or another pretty much do that. And so employers that own investments, Israeli investments, are funding the genocide.
Shame.
Close, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest. That's the demand from the student movement, that's the demand that we are taking up as well.
That's right.
And I must also say and admit that labor institutions in this country, my own union, the UIW, has investments in Zionism and Israel bonds. And those Israel bonds are used to commit genocide in Palestine. And there's nothing new about that. That's been going on. Official labor done has supported Zionism in this country for more than 100 years. Certainly since the Nakba in 1948 and ever since. And that is to stop. And that's why, for example, UAW Labor in Palestine today, and yesterday, and every day is calling and demanding that the International Executive Board of the UAW divest from Israel bonds, cut ties with the history group, the racist Israeli Labor Federation, and its U.S. mouthpiece, the Jewish Labor Committee. That has to end. And if we use the power that we have above all, the power that Sultana was talking about, at the workplace, for workers to refuse to build arms for Israel, for workers to refuse to transport weapons and other means of genocide for Israel, for workers to refuse to be silent in the workplace against Zionism, against the genocide, as so many of our brothers and sisters and siblings have been silent, have tried to be silent, because the more they try to silence us, the louder we will be. The more they try to silence us, the louder we will be.
The more they try to silence us, the louder we will be.
The more they try to silence us,
The louder we will be.
the more they try to silence us.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
No votes for genocide.
No votes for genocide.
No votes for genocide.
No votes for genocide.
Finally, we invite you to work with us in our individual organizations in the Labor for Palestine National Network, where we come together to build this movement so that we can stop the genocide and help free Palestine. Thank you.
Woo! Reyna! Woo!
Everyone, I'm Reyna. I'm a member of City Workers for Palestine. I'm a member of DC 37 and a parks worker. We're a group of city workers who came together across agencies in solidarity with Palestine, who refuse to stay silent in the face of Eric Adams and his administration's unwavering support for the state of Israel and the genocide in Palestine. Since a year ago, we've launched a couple different campaigns in solidarity with Palestine. Our big focus right now being our divestment campaign. We're part of the country's biggest public pension system, which serves over 350,000 workers and retirees. We did the research, and NYSNA holds over $100 million in Israeli securities, and these securities fund Israel's military might. They fund Element Systems, one of Israel's largest arms manufacturers. They fund the White Phosphorus that's used against Palestinians and the Lebanese people, and they also fund the surveillance technologies that are used in Palestine. So, we know that
voted to pass a ceasefire resolution, and they were the first local to vote to support the divestment campaign. And a couple at our second local, the first DC 37 local, also voted to support the divestment campaign. The 3,005 workers, they represent the healthcare workers in New York City, the Department of Health, who have been connecting the struggle for divestment to the public health crisis, that we're both dealing with in New York City and in Palestine, as Israel has intentionally destroyed the public health care infrastructure. And so, the 3,005 members today, they held a divestment workshop to share the lessons they learned. And the greatest lesson is we need to be talking to all of our coworkers about this issue and why Palestine is a labor issue, right? We know as New York City workers, all of our departments are getting constantly defunded. All of our social services across the country are constantly defunded, while more and more money is sent to the U.S. war machines to bomb children in Palestine, to bomb children in Gaza. So, our struggle as workers is directly related to the fate of the Palestinian people. And the one department that continues to get increased funding is the NYPD. And so that's why we've launched a second campaign, to stop Cop City, the $225 million construction of a new police training facility out of College Point, Queens. We recently tabled there at a soccer tournament run by some leftist orgs who visited the facility. It's already massive. It's like brand sparkling new. It has like a moat around it. Where most of us work in offices that are crumbling, where the internet goes out all the time. I've worked in buildings where we have lead paint. The disparity is really crazy, and so we demand cops out of our unions. Cops, no more funding for Cop City, and so I don't remember the last one. It's escaping me right now, but it's great. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Arresting peaceful protesters in the streets who committed a mass shooting in a subway station over someone who jumped the turnstile, who actually killed a city worker. One of the people who died was a health and hospitals worker. So
Shame!
And now Eric Adams is putting NYPD oversight over a bunch of our agencies that have peace officers. So we want our unions to stand up against this. We want our unions to stand up for Palestine. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Woo!
The next person I'd like to invite to speak is my brother Elias from Freedom Socialist Party and Writers Guild.
Woo!
All right, everybody, the cops took our bullhorn, but I was at the New York Times Tech Workers Guild strike picket line, so my vocal cords are nice and warmed up for all of y'all. So hopefully you can hear me. I just want to say a couple of words. I'm in the Freedom Socialist Party. We are a revolutionary feminist organization. Also the Writers Guild. We formed a union last year, right before the strike happened. And that taught me a couple of lessons about our power. Just seeing those workers in front of New York Times, disrupting possibly the tech operation of the biggest news operation on the eve of our election shows the power of workers organizing. And they're not just organizing for themselves, they're organizing for this idea that we can check these corporations and these governments that just run roughshod over our lives, take our money, bomb innocent civilians wherever they want. And what's the force that stops that? It's labor, more than anything else. And I think the evidence of the power of the movements right now is how much they're being repressed, how much the Democratic Party is attacking the students, is trying to, they're desperate to have labor funneled into the Harris campaign. Well, no matter what happens tonight, in the next couple of days, weeks, we know our organizing doesn't stop.
That's right.
It just changes our strategy depending on who's at the top. But the genocide is fully supported by both parties, and that's been the mission of Labor for Palestine, to have solidarity with the labor unions in Palestine, with really the workers of the world. You can spend as much as you want, it doesn't change the fact that we are in this struggle to have solidarity with our siblings who are suffering, and that's the reality of this world. You know, you have the haves and the have-nots. And the union movement has to continue to fight for independence from the two parties. We need a labor party in this country to organize workers, to really marshal our forces that have only begun to show their strength in the port workers strike, in the writers strike, in the Teamsters action. It's only begun, the labor movement has only begun to show its potential to really advocate for our class, for workers, for all the oppressed who are really just spiraling and suffering under capitalism. So with that, I have a lot of faith in our working class's ability to win our struggles on the eve of this, election, which in some ways is incredibly consequential and in some ways won't change anything about, the war machine and capitalism. So Labor for Palestine has always been in the struggle since October 7th. We stand in solidarity with all your efforts and all your unions. The concerted actions of small, dedicated advocates within institutions to push them is really so integral to the struggle, and you guys will win. We have to keep it up. So stay in the fight. Free Palestine. Workers of the world unite.
Woo! Elias! Woo!
Next up, we have John from UAW 7902, who is a United Auto Workers.
John! Woo!
My name is John King. I am a member of the UAW Local 7902, New York University adjunct. We are here as rank and file workers with UAW Labor for Palestine and New York City Labor for Palestine, joining with many labor sectors throughout this city in solidarity with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of rank and file UAW and other union workers throughout this country and indeed throughout the world. Standing alongside within our lifetime and other activist and student intifada organizations, we come together in solidarity and unity and community for a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Palestine is a labor issue. An injury to one is an injury to all. We are organizing and speaking out loud and clear for Palestinian liberation. As Labor for Palestine, we are also calling on our UAW international executive leadership and demanding that we as a union divest from Israel bonds, which directly and materially support this genocide, and to stand with and honor the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions' call for a permanent and immediate ceasefire, for ending all complicity in the genocide, for stopping all military weapons in support for the Zionist apartheid state, for honoring the BDS picket line. We walk the picket line, we do not cross the BDS picket line, called for by the Palestinian organizations to boycott, divest from, and sanction all institutions, financial, industrial, military, academic, and cultural entities with ties to the apartheid genocide state. We demand action, as Frederick Douglass said more than 150 years ago, which still has great resonance today, when he was fighting slavery and racism and the apartheid of his time. He said, quote, "We do not need a gentle rain. We need the storm, the maelstrom, the earthquake," end quote. Actions, we need actions which will expose the contradictions and the crimes of the Zionist governments in all of occupied Palestine and these occupied so-called United States. Those entities which will soon collapse under the weight of their own hypocrisy. As Rosa Luxemburg once said, one of the inner laws of revolution is that it never stands still. It never becomes passive or docile. Once the first step is taken, it becomes unstoppable. This movement for Palestinian liberation is unstoppable. We do not pause or blink an eye or waste time with the so-called capitalist democratic election, two sides of the same genocidal coin. We continue to organize to build to strengthen our union power so that we can, as organized labor, shut it down for Palestine. Something I've always drawn inspiration from, the quote of Maurice Bishop, who was the leader of the New Jewel movement in Grenada. His slogan was, "Forward ever, backward never." I say forward ever, you say backward never, okay? Forward ever.
Backward never.
Forward ever.
Backward never.
Forward ever.
Backward never.
Forward ever.
Backward never.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will soon be free.
Palestine will soon be free.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Forward ever, backward never.
Forward ever, backward never.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Forward ever, backward never.
Forward ever, backward never.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever. Woo!
I wanted to invite, I'm not sure if they're here, Alex from UAW 2325.
Alex!
Okay. Is Christina from NYSNA here?
Christina!
Hi. Would you like to speak?
You could go later too.
So, I'm going to invite my sister, Saima, from Metal Workers for Palestine to speak next.
Yeah.
Woo!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Thank you all for being here today. It is very inspiring to be with people of conscience who are standing here and not accepting the status quo of how our world and our society is, and are determined to do something, anything to fight back, and realize the importance of our labor in our workplaces as a tool to fighting back against the corruption of the society and of the genocide that is occurring in Gaza. So my name is Saima. I was fired from Meta, and I now run Meta Stop Censoring Palestine. We have our banner here. Every time Meta lies, neighborhood in Gaza dies. So let me ask you all. Meta is a company that affects us all. How many of you have posted about Palestine on Instagram or Facebook only to have your content taken down, only to be shadow banned, or even have your account permanently deleted? And how many of you use Meta platforms to get your news about what is happening in Palestine, to learn about what community organizing is happening, to learn about the world? So here we have a monopoly on the way we communicate and mobilize in today's modern world. Meta platforms are essentially our version of the town square. And Meta has commandeered a monopoly on it, and it is using its biases to suppress the information that it wants to suppress. So with our campaign, we have three demands. One, Meta needs to stop censoring Palestine on our platform via its shadow banning, via its biased policies, via its ignoring of the product issues, and via its taking down permanently taking down activists and organizers for Palestine. Two, we demand that Meta stop supporting an apartheid state that is conducting a genocide via providing data to Israel, via having leaders at Meta that are influencing policy decisions, and via Our demand is for Meta to stop censoring its employees that are speaking out for Palestine. So like I said, I was fired from Meta. Internally, when post-October 7th, we realized how much we were being censored. So we had these leaders that were offering widespread support publicly and company-wide for Israeli civilians that were killed on October 7th and support for Israeli colleagues. But the problem was they didn't say a word for Palestine. They did not acknowledge the tens of thousands of Palestinian lives that were being killed, that were being murdered, the humanitarian crisis that was occurring there, the genocide that is occurring in Palestine. And they did not acknowledge the Palestinian colleagues that had family members that were being killed in Gaza. So when we posted in our employee resource group, even simple things like offering condolences to our colleagues who lost family members, the posts were deleted.
Shame.
Shame!
Shame.
When we mentioned beautiful things about Palestinian culture, just about Dabqa and like the beauty of Palestinian culture, posts were deleted.
Shame!
I tried to have watermelon cupcakes at our community fair, and I posted about it. They deleted my post and forbid me from having watermelon cupcakes at the community fair. If there is this much level of fear internally at Meta for even mentioning the word Palestine, how do you think they are going to moderate content for billions of users on the platform that is used for the world to communicate? So I'm here to build some awareness of the importance of these platforms in shaping public perception and the way they communicate, and how Meta is controlling what we all are able to see, and hopefully spark some ideas for how the public can create public pressure on Meta as well. There's 3 offices here in New York. We've held some vigils and speak out outside those offices. If you are angered yourself and want to and are part of any organizations that lead protests or protests, this is a possibility to include in your roster, so come talk to me about that. And this is also a way to inspire each other of how we can continue organizing in our workplaces and find these similarities between what we're all going through and learn from each other to continue organizing at our workplaces. Thank you all for being here.
Woo! Woo!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down with occupation!
Down with occupation!
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down with occupation!
Down with occupation!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
I'd like to invite Christina from NYSNA to speak next. Good evening.
Woo!
My name is Chris Hilo. I'm also a nurse. I'm a member of New York State Nurses Association. To all the healthcare workers, who's a healthcare worker here? Raise your hand. And if not, raise your hand if you're a worker. Raise your hand if you have to work because your livelihood is tied to wages. We are all here because we live in a society of capitalism.
That's
And
right.
capitalism and imperialism are all working hand in hand to ruin the lives of people all over the world. will not tell you to care for the Palestinian people. They will not care for you to learn more about this genocide. Why? Because you're a worker. Get to work. You're a worker. Get to work. Clock in, clock out while children are dying. I'm not just a worker, I'm a mom. I'm a mom. And we see the children are dying. This is a war on children. On children. They have nobody to defend them. How dare our society make you think that a vote will change this? It will not! The movement comes from us! Because we are the workers! We are the workers!
That's right.
You come from staffs of thousands of people! Now line them up and get them in the streets because Gaza needs us! Lebanon needs us! Last week, comrades, nurses from all over New York City and upstate, we all gathered together to do our convention for NYSNA. We were able to pass a resolution, Resolution 16. NYSNA is 42,000 workers, 42,000. And we were able to pass a resolution so that we can start raising more awareness about what is going on in Palestine and Israel. Why? Because they're not going to put this on the TV, honey. They're not. We need to educate ourselves. We need to educate our people. And we need to teach people again how to care and love. How dare you tell me that you don't care about these children? Because you don't know about these children. So we came together and we brought it in front of our union. We had 500 members there and we had to go to a vote. What did we vote on? The resolution was like this. The first part is to make sure that we have create a statement on a permanent ceasefire. 2, make sure that we socially responsibly invest as a union. Talk about those pensions. 3, reaffirm commitment to protect workers without fear of retaliation. And 4, educate our members about what's going on in Israel and Palestine. Because guess what? We need to do the education. We need more people in the streets. This genocide is not going to end without everybody putting their lives on the line. As nurses, we passed that resolution because many of us we passed it. That's not just for me, but for all the nurses that worked on it. We passed that resolution because we know the truth. But we still have to get our other brothers and sisters on board because I do not believe that these people do not care about thousands and thousands of children who are being murdered. So, you have to make your own oath to continue to fight for Palestine. Whether it is a little here, a little there, wear your keffiyeh, talk to your coworker when it's safe, do something. But let's go. Woo! Always forward, never backward. Free Palestine!
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 And the occupation!
And the occupation!
And the occupation!
And the occupation!
NYSNA Labor for Palestine. I'm also a proud member of Association for the Attorneys of Legal Aid. I've been an attorney for 35 years, and I've been fighting since I've been 12. I fight on the heels of my father, who fought against the Vietnam War, who fought against apartheid in South Africa, who fought against police brutality from New York to Mississippi. And I'm a mother, like other people have said today. I'm a mother who raises a son and a daughter who fights against police brutality. Who fights against union busting with their moms. Who fights for climate change. Who fights against injustice. Who fights for pro-choice and women's rights. Who fights for transgender rights. And we all know that it's one struggle, one fight. Let's not forget that. This election will have you fooled. They'll have you fooled, thinking you have to make one choice or the other. Palestinian children, women, and men, elderly and babies are dying. I saw a picture today of a little girl dressed like a princess with blood on her collar and blood streaming down from her ears. My daughter, for 10 years, all she wanted to do for Halloween was to dress as a princess. That daughter lost a mother that took all the care to put that bow in her hair. And all I could see was my child. I have my child, thank goodness, with me. But I cannot sit silently as other children are killed. As the men who do the brave actions that they do to save their children and their people are shot and killed. As humanitarian aid workers are shot and killed. It is time for us as workers, as laborers, to come together and fight this, because they are dying for no reason, for capitalism, for money, not for humanity. So they try to silence us, right, Michael? They try to silence us by taking us to court to shut down the resolution to support Palestine and to divest from bonds and stock that supports Israeli companies. But we will not be silenced.
No!
Now, I didn't hear this. I didn't invent this, but I love this. Because we will not be silenced, because the more they try to silence us,
The louder we will be.
the more they try to silence us,
The louder we will be.
the more they try to silence us,
The louder we will be.
what do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want? Arms embargo. You see? What do we want?
Arms embargo.
When do we want it?
Now.
from all over the city who are committed to building and growing a united labor front in solidarity with the struggle for Palestinian liberation. As my siblings have mentioned before me, in this fight we take our cues from the Palestinian Federation of General Trade Unions in Gaza, who have called on the U.S. Union to stop enabling this genocide. They have urged us to end our complicity in the military-industrial complex that sustains the occupation. Their call is not just for political solidarity, it is for direct action. Yes. It is a call to leverage our collective strength as workers to challenge imperialism and demand justice and liberation for Palestine.
Yes.
Woo! Today on Election Day, we do face a moment of reckoning. The rhetoric that is being pushed by the political establishment tells us to vote for the lesser evil or face the rise of fascism when the two major parties are two sides of the same coin, as many people have said before me. They serve the same capitalist interests that exploit us all. It is not the Democratic Party or the trade unionist bureaucrats who will stop imperialist war or the occupation of Palestine. It will only end through the independent and unified initiative of the international working class, rising in solidarity with Palestinian resistance that will bring on an end to the occupation and genocide of Palestine.
That's right. That's right. Woo!
Our task is clear. We must continue to organize ourselves outside of the existing two-party system, to raise class consciousness and forge a labor movement that will fight for the freedom and dignity of all people. The struggle for Palestine is our struggle. The fight for labor rights is our fight. And the fight for justice and liberation is our fight. Yeah. Together, as workers, as organized labor, we can shut down the systems of oppression that perpetuate imperialist war. Let us take inspiration from the workers and the people of Gaza, from the unions of Palestine, from all those fighting for freedom and justice around the world, and reaffirm our commitment to global solidarity. We will not be silent. We will not be complicit. We will fight for Palestine. We will fight for the working class, and together we will build the world that we deserve. We are the many, and our collective power is unstoppable.
Yeah, that's right. The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
Free, free Palestine.
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 Say it loud, say it clear.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Liberation is here.
Liberation is here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Liberation is here.
Liberation is here.
Say it clear, say it loud.
Say it clear, say it loud.
Gaza, you make us proud.
Gaza, you make us proud.
Say it clear, say it loud.
Gaza, you make us proud.
Gaza, you make us proud.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Open up the prison gates.
Open up the prison gates.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Open up the prison gates.
Open up the prison gates.
Resistance is justified.
Resistance is justified.
When people are occupied.
When people are occupied.
Resistance is justified.
Resistance is justified.
When people are colonized.
When people are colonized.
Resistance is justified.
Resistance is justified.
When
people are occupied.
Resistance is justified.
Resistance is justified.
When people are colonized.
When people are colonized.
No justice. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
And if we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.